Hello, hello, brothers and sisters. It's a new week. We thank you very much for watching our show titled Speak of Africa. We have a whole lot of news for you this week. What is the news cycle like? Well, the big story pretty much has been the war between Israel and Iran. That's the lens we're going to use to see the geopolitical stories in Africa. Donald Trump, a strong supporter of Israel, decided to bomb at least 3 nuclear sites in Iran by the request of Netanyahu, PM of Israel. So how is this bombing of Iran going to play out? We know there are going to be a lot of repercussions. America may be a powerful country, but Iran also has a lot of proxy forces all over the Middle East. They can really do a whole lot of damage to the United States if they choose to. So why was the United States getting into this war between Israel and Iran? Well, it's because the US government is controlled by the Jewish lobby. They have to do everything to support the Jewish lobby. That's the truth about it. Even though they know that it is not in the US interest to take this action, the Jewish lobby pushes the US government to commit these acts. So you have to understand that as our people. We want you to understand the geopolitics. These folks rule the world. They control all the resources. In the United States, they control the government. Ever since they left Europe after the Second World War, they came to the United States and they have a stranglehold on the US government. So the US government always does what the Jewish state wants. So if you do not know this, we're telling you for the first time. So understand. But for us, we're more concerned with our continent, which is Africa. How are these stories going to affect Africa? Yeah, pretty much a lot of the policies Donald Trump is pursuing are anti-Africa. He himself calls us shithole countries. So we should not really be surprised. For one, I just noticed that I just got the news as we're coming to the studio that Senegalese ladies were banned from getting visas to come and play basketball in the United States, to come and train. So you see, our people are really feeling the pinch of Trump's racism. Every day, they are feeling it. But we're going to focus attention on resource nationalism. For so many decades, since the colonial period, Africa's natural resources have been there for the taking by the colonial cabals. And when I talk about colonial cabals, I'm talking about a lot of the countries in the West, which are shaped in the form of multinational corporations. Multinational corporations are big businesses like Petrobras, Perenco, Shell. They are in many countries. They operate in many countries. They are big. So they go to Africa. They don't pay taxes. They give bribes to the local politicians. Then they take all the money they make in those African countries to their respective countries in Europe and America. How is Africa gaining? Africa is not gaining. They say in French, il faut toujours un perdant. Le perdant c'est qui? So which means there is always a loser. Who is a loser in this case? The loser is Africa and Africans. They're the ones losing. So for so many decades, they watch in shame as their natural resources are being taken by these multinational corporations to the Western world. So now we're having a new crop of nationalist leaders who are conscious, who are saying, we believe in our African sovereignty. We do not want our resources to be leaving Africa and going to Europe or America for free. It has to stop. Enough is enough. And that's what is happening when you look at the new African leaders. And I'm going to start with Burkina Faso. You guys already know our guy, Ibrahim Traoré, right? The goal, he's really emphasizing local industrialization. Instead of exporting raw materials from Burkina Faso to Europe for processing, he's insisting that the gold has to be processed in Burkina Faso. So he's focusing on the localization of industries in his country. Everything has to be done in his country. And he's even putting pressure on Russia to even give nuclear energy to fire the plans in Burkina Faso. And this is why the people are really going crazy for Ibrahim Traoré. It's a young guy, but he has some brilliant ideas. He's against the neo-colonialists. He's against the imperialists from Europe and America. So that's why the people love him. Okay? They love him so much. He doesn't want Africa's resources to keep living. So what these guys do, they take our natural resources for almost nothing, then they turn around and bring manufactured goods to us. Then we have to pay a whole lot of money. Then are you surprised that Africa always has a deficit in its balance of payments and balance of trade with these countries? That's the reason. You get our natural resources for almost nothing. Then you manufacture these products and return them to us, so we have to pay. It's very unfair trade. So the new crop of African leaders is rising up. The leaders are young. They are seeing that sovereignty means a lot. They are cutting ties with the colonial West, and they are making changes. They are renegotiating these bad deals our forefathers had negotiated with these bad guys. Okay? Then, of course, you see another leader like in Botswana, Duma Boko. He too is joining this new crop of African leaders. When he won elections in Botswana, Botswana is a very big country where they produce diamonds. When you talk about diamonds in Africa, the only country that comes to mind is always going to be Botswana. But diamond alone cannot feed Botswana. So which is why Botswana has been going through some very tough times. With the ascendancy of Duma Boko as president, things are changing. He has decided to renegotiate a lot of those diamond contracts with companies like De Beer, those multinational corporations, the evil companies. These companies are like Shylock the Jew. They come in for a pound of flesh. They take everything you have and you are left with nothing. So those are the problems you have with these multinational corporations. They sign devilish deals with the politicians, and you know African politicians are always gullible. They don't care about their people. They only care about bribes and resources that they collect from these multinational corporations. And you want to tell this story by using examples of many presidents and countries to make it clear to you. You take a country like La République du Cameroon. Le pauvre Biya, what does he say? Je suis le meilleur élève des Français. Mais oui, tu as été le meilleur élève pendant très longtemps. Qu'est-ce que tu as fait pour ton pays? Rien du tout. You've been the best student of France, colonialism. You've not done anything for your people. After 92 years, you're still saying you want to stand for re-election. This week, the civil society in La République du Cameroon is saying no, no, no to Biya. The priests are saying no, the university folks are saying no, the students are saying no. So then even Maurice Kamto, who is also another leader of the opposition, he is also saying no. So the opposition is coming from all quarters against Paul Biya. Then in the north, you have Issa Chiroma, and you have other politicians who are really anti-Biya. So are they just playing a game, or they are really against Biya? That's what we're looking. We're looking at all these politicians to look at where they stand. Are they just trying to get Biya to bribe them so that they can stand down, or they really want to challenge Biya? But we can tell you that things are tough in La République du Cameroon. October is not very far. In a few months, they're going to have an accept Biya as a candidate. They're already saying it. Biya can use all the tricks, all the military guys, but it looks like this time there's going to be fire. And there's going to be a lot of split already, even in Biya's own ethnic group, which you call the Singang folks. There's a lot of division. There's division among the Bulus, division among the Etones, division among the Ewondos. So the people are not speaking one voice. Every faction wants to be the next president. So Biya himself has not chosen a successor. So it looks like he wants to be his own successor. Biya wants to succeed Biya. So that's the way we look at the tea leaves. This is an election in which Biya has to run and win to succeed Biya. But is this going to give? We don't think so. When you look at the political strategies the opposition is putting together, and the people are just sick and tired of him. They're sick and tired of Biya. And we told you before, on May 20th, for the first time, those who did not know saw exactly that Biya is finished. Biya cannot really run a country. So what is happening? His hangers on, they are the ones really running things for him. He uses them. Folks like Atanganji, they do all his dirty work, so he stays hidden in the shadows. You have so many guys like those. So the people have understood that this guy is not the one running the country. Nobody can deceive us. His wife Chantal is the cheerleader. Are they going to accept this charade for a lot more time? You've seen what happened in Gabon. What happened to Silva Bongo? You've seen what happened in Zimbabwe with Grace, Gucci Grace. So when the people get to understand that this guy is not really the one running our country, a lady Macbeth is the one running the country, a femme fatale is the one running the country, they start having better ideas that maybe it is time for us to put an end to this charade. And we can tell you that a crazy military guy, he may even be very young, will take this Biya cabal down. We can predict that. They're going to take this Biya cabal down because the suffering is just too much in La République du Cameroon. Too much suffering, and the people are sick and tired. While you have people in Burkina Faso talking about resource, nationalism, sovereignty, Biya is still paying allegiance to the French. And that's the sad part. What about DRC Congo? Well, this is a country of confused people. Joseph Kabila has reinserted himself into the dialogue. He wants to be relevant. But there is a peace agreement between the M23 and the government in Kinshasa. We understand this peace agreement is going to be signed on June 27. So where does this agreement place Joseph Kabila? We think Joseph Kabila is going to just be sidelined. He was thinking that he could come in and take over from his successor, Tshisekedi. But Tshisekedi doesn't want to leave. Felix Tshisekedi wants to stay as president of Congo DRC. So things are tough. Even though Joseph Kabila is in Goma, he's having tough times to make himself relevant. And at the same time, he feels like the Congolese people should have a form of amnesia. They must have forgotten all the bad things that happened during Joseph Kabila's tenure at the presidency in Congo DRC. That's the way he feels. And for the most part, some even say Joseph Kabila is not really a Congolese. He's from Rwanda. Look at his name, Kabange. That's not a Congolese name. That's what the Congolese guys are saying. And which is why he could get along with Paul Kagame, because they are all Rwandans. So how can you be getting people from Rwanda running Congo? That's a problem the Congolese are posing. So let's watch whether King Trump is going to create some peace here, and whether this peace is going to last. We're still watching. Then what about Ivory Coast? Ivory Coast is also another powder cake. This is a country that has seen good times. By the same token, Ivory Coast has seen bad times. During the time of Houphouët-Boigny, Ivory Coast really had bright days. The people were happy. A lot of Africans flocked to Abidjan to make a living. Then came the days of Gbagbo and Alassane Ouattara. A lot of bloodshed, a lot of people were killed. But it looks like Alassane Ouattara is making it impossible for other guys to become president. He wants to be the president for a fourth term. Carte mandat, even fair carte mandat. He wants to have 4 mandates as president. A lot of the opposition is crying foul. Tidjane Thiam and Laurent Gbagbo have teamed up as members of the opposition to block the ascendancy of this guy, Ouattara, to power. But is it going to work? We fear there may be another civil war in Ivory Coast, because the colonial guys still want their guy, Alassane Ouattara, to stay there as president, but a lot of the Ivorian people do not want Alassane Ouattara to stay there as president. You look at a lot of the resources of that country, coffee. Who is mining all these resources? The multinational corporations are the ones. Remember, Alassane Ouattara is a product of the World Bank. So he works for the interests of the multinational corporations. That's the sad part. And a lot of Africans are beginning to understand this fact, that this guy is not there to help the people of Ivory Coast. He is there to serve the interests of multinational corporations. And you know the World Bank is the big financier of most of these multinational corporations, right? Then what about Mali? In Mali, we are really seeing a change. You have a junta that's not really popular with all the people, but the junta is using the card, the magic card of resource nationalism. Orano, the French company that has been extracting all the uranium in that country, because Mali has a lot of gold. So we'll talk about Mali. In Mali, that's Assimi Goïta's country. There's a lot of gold, and Barrick Gold and some of these companies have been mining this stuff, and Assimi Goïta has told them, hey, stop. We have to control this stuff. Now we have to control it. Then in Niger, where you have Orano and most of the uranium, they are all, General Tiani is saying, hey, stop. We have to control these resources. Now we are in charge. Orano, you are not in charge anymore. France can go dark. We don't care. So the French are crying foul. And the guys are behaving like they own Africa. This is the sad part we see in the way most of these colonial forces behave. They behave like Africa belongs to them. Africa does not belong to Africans. The resources of Africa belong to the multinational corporations. So Africa is just like a farm. They come there, take everything that they want to take. Africans don't really have any interest, nothing they can say, no say. And that's what I find very, very discomforting. Then what about Nigeria? In Nigeria, you have another government that was handpicked by the Western powers and forced on Nigerians. So Bola Tinubu did not really win a free and fair election. We know that. If you have a free and fair election, Bola Tinubu will not win that election. Nigerians know that, and they have been talking about it. You would think this guy will come in and try to have some positive economic policies. But every week we only hear Bola Tinubu talking about 2027, re-election, 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 re-election. Yet his people are suffering every day. Then you look at the activities of multinational corporations. Petrobras. Bola Tinubu is sleeping with Petrobras. You would think that he now, acting as the oil minister, will try to do something to help the oil industry in his country. No, he just wants his kickbacks. He doesn't care whether his people are suffering. That's the truth. Some of you guys were talking to us about the common man in Nigeria now. Police officers finding it difficult to make a living. A guy is retiring. They give him $1,000 for retirement. How much is $1,000 going to do for him? Not really much. And which is why you see that some of these former police officers engage in crime. When you hear of insecurity in Nigeria, these are the guys who are committing those crimes. In fact, as we're even coming to the studio, we got information to a suicide bomber detonated her vest and over 10 people died. So insecurity is always going to be rife in Nigeria. While people are dying of insecurity, Bola Tinubu is spending time planning on 2027. Yet, you think that a guy who is serious would make plans for security for his people. The amount of insecurity in Nigeria is too much. I even have friends. They are building houses there. You're building a house, a big-time mansion in Nigeria, especially like my Igbo friends. You cannot be safe. So this is really sad. How can you live in a society like this? It is very, very tough. Then finally, we take you to Senegal. In Senegal, you also have the issue of resource nationalism. You have a new crop of leaders that has decided to break away from the past, the colonial past of France. In the past, France and multinational corporations were stealing the resources of Senegal. But since a new president and a new prime minister is in charge now, they are putting a brake on all of that nonsense. They don't want the colonial guys to be stealing the resources of the country. They are renegotiating all the contracts so that they can get favorable terms for Africa and African people. So those are the main issues that we are bringing to you today. Resource nationalism, sovereignty, democracy. If we can have real governments, then we will really have a future. Some people have given up hope on Africa. So what about you? What do you think? What should be done? We're asking you. So don't just listen to us. Share your ideas with us. What do you think we need to do to change the trajectory, the story, the narrative of Africa? What should be done? It is for you now to share with us on this show. Bye-bye.
Do you need tax preparation services? We can help. Contact PJ Tax Service, America's only full-time income tax preparers. Like the good old doctor, we do not close our doors after April 15th. In fact, we stay open all year round in order to serve you. We are located at 11207A, Lockwood Drive, Silver Spring, Maryland, 20901. Make an appointment today with Prince Ojong, your tax expert. Call 240-350-1131 or visit us on the web at www.pjtaxservice.com.
Selling a service or a product? Need buyers? Use the African Nation TV as a channel to reach many viewers. Act now and call Prince Ojong at 240-350-1131. That's 240-350-1131. Act today.